nice for you to join us today. My name is Sue Janzen, and I'm just happy to invite you in to get in on a good conversation today. I've got a question for you. I'm welcoming back Patricia Muir, who was here last week in our part one. So we're doing part two of this session, and we are talking about self-trust versus self-confidence. What do those words mean to you? And let me ask you, do you feel that you're confident, that you have self-trust? Are you feeling safe is another word, or worthy, worthiness, or just being worthy? These are all related concepts, and they're mutually reinforcing too, though. They can also exist independently of each other. We want to talk about this today. So just as a reminder, Patricia Muir is a champion of personal and professional excellence, and she fosters growth for women business owners and executives. And her unique approach combines consulting, coaching, and business best practices for women micro entrepreneurs. And her company is Executive Encore, and I'm just so pleased to have her back with us today. So Patricia, thank you so much for being here. As always, you're just lovely to talk to. And let's just dive back in and to see, and we'll have to watch our chat to see if we get any questions. Remind us where we ended off and why this is important. The title is Self-Trust versus Self-Confidence.
Well, I talk more about the power of self-trust because I feel like self-confidence can often feel like wearing a well-tailored suit, exuding certainty in our abilities outwardly. So it's like a nice suit, but self-trust is like the luxurious silk beneath. It's the unwavering faith that we hold in our core, knowing that we can endure and adapt regardless of what the situation is. So we don't need to exude self-confidence because that's outward. We need to be feeling worthy. I love that you brought up that word worthy rather than self-confidence. Let's eradicate that from the information that we give to women to be successful. Let's talk to them about the foundation, the luxurious silk beneath, and that's our self-trust.
Exactly. And it's an inside job. It's not something that just happens to you. It's something that you're very self-aware. And I think it's taking that look inside and really examining it. So the self-awareness, I think, is part of the journey to that self-acceptance and self-trust and even faith. I mean, we can use a whole bunch of different words where we're believing in ourselves.
That's right. Ourselves. We've gone through some experiences to get us to where we are in life now, and we've come through them with a couple of bumps and bruises, but acknowledging that we have built the experience and what we need to survive the storms and be grounded by our wisdom and our experience, rather than the external validation from someone else telling us whether we're good enough or whether we are good or whether we meet their standard. This is more about meeting our own standards. And this is part of that is self-regard. Like, how do we feel about ourselves as the characters that we have? And I mean, characteristics that we have, because who we want to be. And we can trust in ourselves by acting in the best interests of our spirit and our overall well-being.
No, I love that. I love that. And it's actually, and it's having like I think that's self-acceptance, and that we're confident in ourselves. Doesn't matter what pops up in the back for no reason. Now it's really weird, but having that self-trust, I think too, and believing in ourselves. A lot of times I have clients and I talk to them about, that I believe in them, and just people hearing that from somebody. But the biggest value and the most important thing is for them to feel that themselves without me having to say it. But also you want to encourage them along that route, like that journey of getting more self-confident, but more self-love and self-trust and belief in ourselves.
And how we do this is that we honor all the promises that we make to ourselves. So if we promise that we're going to do something, not promising to someone else or to an employer or to family, but if we make promises to ourselves and then we keep them, then we're building that really strong self-trust foundation.
And that's what we should all be striving for. It doesn't matter what we're doing, what business we're in. It doesn't really matter what we're trying to be of service to others with. Like, what we're tackling as something that is our passion, we need to be in that authentic place where we have that belief in ourselves and that we can move forward with confidence. That's where my confidence always comes in. I know some people don't like the word confident anymore, but I'm finding that it is, for me, the confidence is actually taking steps. It's an action. It's being confident that, like, the more you practice and the more you try new things, I just feel like you have to be confident to make that next step. And whether you fail or not, you're still going to be learning from that. So there's kind of a mix, all those words. There's so many things to consider.
Well, I've heard of some people saying it's not about confidence either. It's about trusting that you can step outside of your comfort zone. Because I think, Susan, that's what you're talking about. To know that I've got the next step to take. And you say, I'm confident because of what I've done before. But for me, I will take that next step. I will step outside of my comfort zone because I can trust myself to either try it out, doesn't work. Okay, I'll retreat a little. And it's not about retreating in a bad ways, but realizing that that's not good for me. It's maybe good for someone else. And so that opens up that whole box, Pandora's box, about comparison. Like when people are talking about, I think one of the reasons why we're moving away from the word confidence is because there's so many books and there's so many articles that are targeted to women that say all you need is self-confidence. Well, no, that's not all you need. You need to be able to trust that you can open up whatever opportunities there are and feel safe in yourself, knowing that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, and then knowing whether it's a good thing for you, whether you're doing it in your own best interests and not in a selfish way, but in a personal growth way. That's able to recognize that, okay, this might be good for Susan, but it's not what I see for myself. Even though I've gone outside my comfort zone and I've tried it, I am going to not accept that. I'm going to do something else. Or I might. Now, it's different than that shiny object syndrome that also is also, targeted to women. Well, there are some people that they've got so much experience in their life at trying different things that they are very confident, or they trust in themselves to try the different things. And when I talk to people about what they're going to be doing after they leave their corporate job or something like that, and they're not sure what they want to get into, there are some people that have to be very focused on what that is. And then there's other people that want to try all sorts of things. I said, as long as you leave yourself enough time and enough money to try all those different things, why not? You trust that as you're going through these different things, you will find what's right for you.
Yeah, you have to be willing to take those action steps to find out what those are. And there's usually some kind of a fear, though, that's behind the not wanting to get in front of people or to be sharing what you know so well and that you have a passion about. And usually that fear is of judgment, or you're not feeling worthy, or you're not feeling something stopping you. And that fear can just, that we have that fight or flight.
Yeah.
So, and we don't want to be, we don't want that to stop us in our tracks. We still need to move forward. And so as long as that is a self-awareness and you're understanding, okay, I am afraid of this, but I am still that's my point about confidence, is that you're still taking that step to say, I'm still going to do this anyway. And I'm going to learn, even if I fail, I'm going to learn so much. So many times I messed up on stage when I was singing. And I mean, nobody even noticed except for me. I mean, maybe one of the band members might have, but I might have done weird words or something. And I just keep going. You would never know if you were watching me that I made a mistake on the word. I'm just going to keep on singing. I don't know what I'm singing, but I'm just going to keep on going. And then I'm hoping that my lyrics will come back to me. And they usually do. But again, that was the confidence and the trust in myself that I've been here, done that before many times. And it never stopped me or made me stop and say, oh, I'm sorry, or apologize. I never apologized either, because mostly people didn't even know. Is that interesting? Yeah.
Mind if I flip that on you a little bit?
Please.
You trusted that you'd come back to center.
Exactly.
Yeah. You call it confidence, but really you had so much experience and talent. you are actually, and I think this is important for someone who has talent like you, is to trust your talent. It's not confidence. You've built up such a repertoire of talent. I have a brother who's a professional golfer. He's a teacher. It's not confidence. He trusts that everything that he's put into his career over the last 25 years, when he shows up, even when he's not feeling that great, he trusts his talent so much that he can still show up even when he's not feeling that good. When people had flus and COVID, well, not that he went out with COVID or anything like that, but when you're not feeling on top of your game. Actually, when you think about that, when we're talking about sports, I would imagine a lot of elite athletes, they have their bad days as well.
Well, sure.
But they trust that what they've invested in building, like talent and hard work, they'll know they'll come back.
That's that belief in themselves. Like, oh, I got this. I mean, I've been here before. I've done this. I can do this.
Yeah.
There's so many components to this that are so important to have. But again, I think the most important thing is just that self-awareness, where if you're feeling that, like, why am I feeling, this way? And let me just figure this out. And why am I not trusting, exactly like you said, why am I not trusting in myself to get through this? The ones who are professionals who do a good job at what they're doing, and they've done it enough times, they just know, I'm just going to make the step and it's going to be fine, because it's been fine many times before.
Well, think about driving. We trust ourselves to, when we started driving, I guess at that point we needed confidence to get behind the wheel, right? But after a while, after practicing, now we trust ourselves to drive well, or drive safely, or drive in bad conditions, or drive at night, things like that. So in a way, we could look at that and say, when we've had enough positive experiences with something, that we can move forward because we trust we've done this, done that, survived. We survived.
It's overcoming that fear. That's the biggest thing. And just being really, really aware that, sure, everyone gets afraid. I think people would say to me, well, I could never get up in front and just start singing, and because I'm so nervous, and then nerves take over. And again, the nervousness is there because you are feeling not adequate, or you're feeling, usually it's a fear of judgment. People are going to say, oh, get off the stage, you're no good, or whatever. I think I've had enough confidence building activities in my singing career, and doing albums and getting awards and prizes and winning things enough where I can say, no, I don't have that feeling, but I still get nervous. It's not like I don't get nervous, but I find that adrenaline happens, and I use that to just, then it doesn't seem to matter what's gone. My cat could have died that day. The light comes on and I'm on camera, or I'm doing what I have to do, and it's forgotten. It's put aside. I do this because I can do this. So again, it's that trust in yourself. Well, we got to build that up in everybody. I think we have to I'm a good cheerleader for people to say, you've got this. And it's like reminding them that, and then a lot of my clients just say, oh, like, I forgot how good I was.
You go back and take a look at some of the great things you've done in your life, and you say, geez, I did that so well. I forgot about that. Going back to the fear, that there's many people might know this, they may have read this, but the emotion or the feelings or the body sensations you get are the same when it's fear and the same when you're excited.
It's true.
So some people might be very excited, the adrenaline, right? Because the adrenaline is going to help you to perform whatever you're doing, as long as you can sort of quieten it down a little bit to a point where you can't perform. But I'm just thinking, that you're talking about singing. Like, I know you have been in a big arena and you have performed the national anthem, right?
Stanley Cup two Stanley Cup playoffs.
Stanley Cup. Oh my goodness. But just think about it, the amount of people who sing to their heart's content in the car, and back to your point, when there's a big crowd in front of you, if you're on stage, there is that fear of judgment. Someone's going to judge me. And often I think the judgment is, who does she think she is? You know, and she's up there talking.
I can sing better. I can sing better than that, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I hope with helping women in particular to see this as being the internal work, like self-trust,
Mhm.
that will help to stop some of their comparison with others. Because, yes, we've been also taught to compare with others.
Yeah, and that's
So ingrained, right?
that's not a waste of energy. It's not.
Certainly
It
is.
doesn't contribute to anything, and it doesn't move you forward in any way. You know, you might learn though from, like, I find I learn when I watch people I admire. I learn from what they're saying, and I might use that, but it's not like I'm comparing.
I was going to ask you, is that different than comparison? It's the same as, you know, you admire people and you want to build your skill to perform like they are, but it's not that you're jealous of them, because that's the other negative emotion, right? You aspire to them. You don't envy them either, because I've had some people say, oh, well, I envy someone. Well, let's talk about that. Is it envy, or is that you aspire to be like them, or to pick up some of their wisdom, right? You don't have to compare yourself with them.
And that's such a negative place to be coming from. And we always talk about being authentic and being who you are. Even if you're admiring somebody and you exactly copy what they're doing, you're not being you, right? We know that. But if I see a really good speaker and I notice that they say a couple things that was really powerful, you know, I might just remember that and just have that in my toolbox, you know, to when I get to those situations where I might need something. We're all learning, and we're all on this journey to do the best that we can be. That's the biggest thing I remember, is like, even if somebody messes up, it's like they're doing their best, you know, like, let's give them a break and collaborate and encourage them and just cheer them on. And I think we do that well. I think I have a lot of women friends who are amazing cheerleaders and builders and really good people to bounce ideas off of and collaborate with. Mm-hmm. So I think we're turning that around.
I've always thought that we do that very well. It's just that we've also been, especially in the workplace, we've been sold a bill of goods that women don't do that. And I can tell you, I have not been in the workplace for the last 30 years, and I've not found one woman in that 30 years who's trying to compete with me and who's trying to use me as a leg up, or the same for me, right? We all share, because we're all paving our own way, and we do learn from one another. And I think we're very generous in offering our experience and offering our wisdom at some point, but also saying, yeah, I've done that. This is how I got through it. And I'm very happy to show you how I got through it, right?
Exactly. So, and that's what we're all here for. I mean, this is what the show is about. And that's why, Patricia, thank you so much for being here today, because this is what I like to have, things that inspire people and that educate people and just give you ideas and just little seeds of ideas that might help you have a better day and living and loving each day. And so we want to make everybody's day, just not ourselves every day, but we want to help everyone live and love their days. And so we want to be good encouragers, but we want to have that self-trust in our own selves so that we can confidently move forward in whatever we're striving for and whatever our goals and our passions are. So that's what's so important to remember. So Patricia, again, you're such a lovely guest. I love talking to you. Thank you very much for this. Love having conversations and collaborating with you. Thanks for joining in today. And Living and Loving Each Day is my webpage. If you want to go there and subscribe, I would love to have a conversation with you too. At least I can keep in touch with you that way. So I'd really appreciate that. So again, everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you, Patricia, so much for being here.
And
we'll see you next week.
Everyone, have a great day.